The prairie night was cold and merciless, the moon hidden behind thick clouds as if even the heavens refused to watch what was about to happen. Emma clutched her worn leather bag close to her chest, her heart hammering as the silhouettes of men closed in around her like wolves, tightening their circle on a lone doe. Their shadows stretched long in the fading twilight. And though their faces were hidden under wide black hats, she could feel their intentions dripping like poison from every step they took. "Nowhere left to run, miss," one of them sneered, his voice carrying the menace of a rattlesnake in tall grass. Emma's breath caught, fear threading through her veins, but she refused to cry. She had already lost too much in this life to give these men her tears. Just as the circle seemed to close, just as the darkness itself seemed to press against her chest, a sudden beam of golden light cut through the night like a sword. A lantern swung high, casting firelight over the dry plain, and behind its glow stood a cowboy with a wide-brimmed hat tilted low and a revolver shining at his side. His voice, steady as iron and sharp as a whip, split the silence. "That's far enough, boys." The thieves paused, their swagger faltering as the light revealed their faces, scarred men with greedy eyes, the kind who preyed on the weak when no one was watching. But someone was watching tonight. Emma's lips parted in relief, though she dared not speak, for the cowboy's very presence was both her shield and her salvation. He stepped forward, each stride carrying a weight that no outlaw dared challenge, the lantern held high in one hand, and the other resting steady on the grip of his Colt. The leader spat into the dirt, trying to mask his unease. "One man with a light and a pistol? You reckon you can stand against all of us?" But his voice wavered, betraying the doubt gnawing at him. The cowboy's eyes never flinched. "I don't reckon," he said slowly, each word measured like a trigger pull. "I know." The thieves shifted uneasily, the circle breaking as their courage faltered in the blaze of the lantern. Emma felt the darkness itself retreat, as though the very night bowed before the flame of this man's resolve. The silence stretched taut, broken only by the wind tugging at the grass and the faint rattle of the lantern's handle. Then, quicker than a blink, the cowboy drew his gun, the motion so fluid it seemed part of the same breath. He fired into the air, the crack of the shot exploding like thunder, echoing across the plains. Horses in the distance whinnied and stamped in alarm, and the thieves stumbled back, fear flooding their eyes. "Next one," the cowboy warned, his voice calm but deadly. "Won't be aimed at the sky." The leader cursed, backing away with a shaky hand raised. "Ain't worth it, boys," he muttered, and like shadows fading before dawn, the thieves scattered, swallowed by the endless dark they had come from. Emma's knees gave way and she sank into the grass, trembling as the adrenaline drained from her body. The cowboy lowered his lantern, its light softening as he stepped to her side. He didn't ask if she was all right. He could see the truth in her pale face and shaking hands. Instead, he offered his hand, rough and scarred, yet steady as a mountain. "You're safe now," he said gently, and the words wrapped around her heart like a blanket against the cold. She placed her hand in his, feeling the warmth of life, of hope, of protection she had long thought lost. As he helped her to her feet, the lantern's glow painted him in hues of gold and shadow, a figure both real and larger than life, the kind of man who didn't just fight thieves but fought the darkness itself. "Who are you?" she whispered, her voice still trembling. He tipped his hat, eyes glinting beneath the brim. "Just a cowboy who don't take kindly to thieves," he replied. But to Emma he was more. He was a savior in boots and dust, a reminder that in a world where cruelty seemed to reign, there were still men who carried lanterns into the dark and guns for the wicked. Together they walked away from the field where fear had almost claimed her, the light guiding each step until the horizon began to pale with the promise of dawn. Emma knew she would never forget the sound of his voice, the strength of his presence, and the way his lantern had driven away not just the thieves, but the shadows of despair. And as their figures faded into the morning light, the story of the cowboy who brought fire to the night would be told again and again, a tale of courage, justice, and a love that began when hope seemed all but gone. And dear listeners, if you believe in stories of light breaking through the dark, of courage standing tall against cruelty, and of love that blooms in the most unlikely of places, then make sure you subscribe to this channel because more tales like this are waiting just for you. And you won't want to miss the next ride into the wild and untamed heart of the West.